everyone, it's Clara. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a little book vlog. I'm going to be mainly reading A Court of Mist and Fury. So I started the Avatar series about a week ago, and it's basically a series that I never ever thought I would read. I just saw it so much on Book Talk, YouTube, just basically anywhere you can get book content. And so it kind of put me off for a long time. But I actually watched the video summary of the first book by Carrie Can Read. She makes amazing summaries, and it finally convinced me to read the books. So this vlog is mainly going to be, I think, pretty spoilery about this book. So if you haven't read it yet or you still want to read it, maybe don't watch. I think I'll include some spoiler warnings. But yeah, all I can say is that the first book was fine, but I think I've read a lot of better fantasy than the first book. So the first book didn't really impress me, but I was still really curious, mainly for the romance, because I just didn't really... I think it's no secret that most people know that the protagonist of the series, Feyre, ends up with Rhys, and I was just so curious as to why and how that was gonna like come about, and how S.J Maas would write that. So kind of the main reason I continued, but I'm really happy I did because I'm about almost 400 pages in and this book is so much better. The world building is so much better. The characters, the relationships between the characters, the dialogue, I just think that this book is like 100 times better than the first. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. So I will be reading this during this vlog. But also, I am reading a classic, a really long classic, and that is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. So this book was kind of my big reading goal for this winter. I kind of wanted to read it during the holidays. The winter holidays are almost over, so I haven't gotten as far as I wanted to with this book. I'm about 330 pages in. I'm really enjoying it. I think you would like this book if you like, I don't know, themes of injustice, revenge, and things like that. I think the beginning was super exciting, but it is lagging a bit right now, because I'm like, what is kind of the point of what's happening right now? So I'm sticking with it, but I am kind of not my favorite part of this. But anyway, those are the two books I've been reading. Other than that, I kind of did some bookshelf reorganization. So I might insert some clips of that. I don't have too many. To be honest, I did not change a lot. Like, it's almost the same, except for like one of my fantasy shelves. And then I have another bookcase in my room, and that one is quite different. I cleaned that one up a lot because it was just kind of boring and lazy before. So yeah, this vlog is just gonna be reading these two books and also some bookcase organization. So I hope you enjoy. I think I'm gonna go to the park and read there. So I will probably update you guys when I have a juicy update about this book. So welcome back. I thought I'd do a little update. I went to the park, but it was so cold. So I basically read like 3 pages, I think, of The Count of Monte Cristo. So really didn't make much progress, but I was just so cold. Like there was no way I could sit there and read a lot. So not the best start to this vlog, but I think I am going to make some tea or some hot chocolate and get all cozy in bed and continue with A Court of Mist and Fury. So hopefully I can have some actual updates, actual content to discuss with you guys. Okay, so I finally have an update. I sat down and read for like an hour and I got through like almost 100 pages of A Court of Mist and Fury. And let me tell you, I am obsessed with this book right now. I'm just obsessed with Feyre right now. Skip if you don't want spoilers. But basically, she has Her and Reese were training in the Illyrian like woods on the steppes or something. Steeps. Don't know how you pronounce that, but she was training out in the open, and Reese got like wounded by like a bunch of arrows, and she like completely like destroys the opponents, and it was an amazing scene. It was great. And also towards the end when she's like taking out the arrows from his wings and like his body and stuff, because he's very hurt, it's just such a touching scene, like the way that she's like telling stories about her childhood and her family to kind of distract Reese from the pain. Just great writing. I really like that moment. It's one of my favorite moments so far in the book, because I feel like it was one of the best romantic moments between the characters. So yeah, I really am enjoying it now. I did not expect like myself to love this so much at this point. I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. Literally so unexpected, but I'm just growing to be very like, I don't know, obsessed with these people and the writing and everyone. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Don't think I'm gonna read anymore today. It's kind of late. And I don't really want to rush the ending, so I think I'm gonna leave the rest for tomorrow. Anyway, that's it. That was my thoughts. Quite unexpected, but I'm kind of obsessed. Hi again, everyone. It's the next day now, so I thought I would update what I'm kind of planning to read today. So I'm planning to finish A Court of Mist and Fury today. I'm super excited. I don't really know what to expect, but I think whatever's gonna happen is gonna be a very tense ending. So I'm just super excited to see how it plays out. And I think I'm just gonna sit down now and put on a read with me video and just completely binge the end of this book. So I'm super excited. Also, I didn't show you guys, but I got in the mail yesterday the next book, which is A Court of Wings and Ruin. So I now have the whole series. So I think my goal is to finish the first 3 books in January. So maybe I will also make a vlog for this book, a special spoiler-filled reading vlog just for this one. But I don't think I've said this, but I'm kind of treating this series as a trilogy. There's like 5 books currently. But I like Feyre right now as a character. I don't know, her struggles make her very, I don't know, like not relatable, but like in a sense relatable and like easy to sympathize with. And my friend who has read this series has said that the sorry, the novella A Court of Frost and Starlight kind of ruins her character, and that she didn't really like it. So I don't really want to read that one. And I know that the Court of Silver Flames follows Nesta, not Feyre. So I think for the moment, I am going to treat this series as a trilogy, and I hope I can finish the whole thing this month. Okay, so I thought I would do an update before I read the last like 60 pages. A lot has happened. A lot has happened. So, I already warned you guys that this would be spoiler filled, but if you don't want spoilers, skip ahead until you see the next clip. But basically what has happened is kind of the big revelation that Feyre is Reese's mate. This is definitely something that I feel like a lot of people think is really cringe. And I agree. I think the whole calling them mate is a bit cringe. I mean, I think if you think about it, like coming from soulmate, it's a little bit better. But this is kind of a small detail, but like there's something about like a ritual of like a potential female mate giving her male mate like food for the first time or something, and like that is like a really significant bonding experience. That was really cringy for me. Yeah, that was really cringy, but I still think like there was some really good moments, and Reese basically tells Farah like everything, how he knew that she was his mate and stuff. To be honest, I didn't really understand why she was so angry that Reese didn't tell her that he was her mate, because like I don't know, I guess maybe in this world it's more binding, but like just because they're like mates doesn't mean that like they're like contractually obliged to like be together. Well, that's what I thought. So I didn't really understand why she was really upset about that, because yeah, I was just like like what's the big deal though? Anyway, but yeah, a lot happens. However, right now it's a really tense moment. So the city of Valeris is being like attacked by, I think, Illyrian soldiers or something that are not supposed to even know, obviously, that Valeris exists. So really tense moment. And I'm really curious how this will end. I predict that Tamlin and the Spring Court is somehow going to get involved. Maybe they're the ones who are invading, actually. I'm not sure yet. Maybe it is the Illyrian soldiers or something. But I feel like the Spring Court has something to do with this. They're still kind of sketchy. And yeah, I suspect that we haven't seen the last of Tamlin. But also I'd like to say, I think I mentioned earlier that I already knew that the 5th book in the series follows Nesta and Cassian. So I know that they get together. However, in this, towards the end of this book, the pages I've just been reading, it's really like heavily hinted at, and Nesta's, I don't know, pays more attention to Cassian than before and everything. And Feyre kind of gives her blessing of sorts by talking to Cassian and basically saying all this stuff about how about how Nesta doesn't usually like open up and all this stuff. So I think that's nice. However, I don't know, I feel like they could have left that potential romance for when or if Nesta decides to flee to the Night Court with Feyre and Reese and everyone, because I feel like introducing that potential romance now, because it's very obviously hinted at, I think it's like kind of rushed. I would have preferred if they did a more like slow burn thing. I mean, is it considered slow burn? Like they did with Feyre and Reese? I think that, I don't know, I just think Cassian and Nesta's potential like romance was introduced a little too quickly for me. I wish that like we would have had more scenes of them together before Feyre even hinted at it and like the other characters kind of hinted at it. But anyway, that is my thoughts in the section I read so far. I'm gonna finish the book, the last part of the book, and I'm gonna come on here back. Oh my god, I can't speak anymore because my mind is literally like a mess after reading this. Like there's so much happening. I'm gonna come back on here to discuss my thoughts about the ending once I have finished. Okay, I got there in the end. Anyway, that's it. Okay, first of all, please excuse me for getting the plot wrong in the last clip. I realized after reading like 2 more pages that it was Hybern invading Valeris, not the Supreme Court, but as I predicted, they're in Hybern right now, and Tamlin and Lucian, how do you pronounce his name? Lucian? Appear. Chaos. That man is just fully a villain. Like S.J Maas, she was like, you know what? You love him, now you hate him. And I'm entertained, but I'm like, damn, like, is this really the man that we got to know in the first book? Like, he's just like gone off the rails at this point. Like, he's so possessive. He's so possessive. Um, and he hates Reese a lot. So a lot is happening right now. Feyre's sisters are now being held and bound by the King of Highburn. So that is where I got. But yeah, stuff is stuff is getting really bad. Stuff is getting really bad. So I don't know how they're gonna get out of this. I really don't. Also, we hate the queens now, by the way. They're the ones who betrayed getting to see Valeris. I knew that was a mistake. Like, who? Sorry, Reese was like, they're gonna trust us, but like, who thought that was a good idea? Who trusted those? Who trusted those queens? So, yeah, a lot of mistakes. But I am very curious to see how they're gonna get out of this one, because at the moment everything is a mess. Her sisters are in a lot of danger. Azrael is they're immortal, so can they, like, what is this deal with them like being really scared to die? Because aren't they immortal? So Azrael's dying, maybe. He's been shot, so chaos basically. But I am gonna actually finally finish this book. I keep promising, but lots of stuff keeps happening, so I keep feeling the need to update you guys. But I'm actually gonna finish the book now. Where to start? Okay. I have so many thoughts and so many questions. It's so funny. My biggest question right now is the fact that S.J Maas made Feyre's sister Elaine Lucien's mate. Why? Like, I get it works for the plot because, like, Feyre has something, not against, like, Feyre has some power over Lucien now, but like, ew, like, why? I just, I don't like it. And like, also, what is with all these mates between like Feyre and like the three, like, she knows like a handful of Fae, and it so happens that her and their sisters are like mated to like the handful of Fae that she knows. Like, anyway, that for me was the biggest like, what? Like, ew. I don't know, I just hated it. What else? A lot, okay. Elaine and Nesta are Fae now. Alright. Weird. And Feyre is now back in the Spring Court. Oh, I really feel for her. I think S.J Maas does a very good job of like getting us to sympathize with her, like the fact that she has to go back to this place that was basically like a prison. And also, one thing that Feyre says, I'm like, she says that like love is also a poison, but like the thing that Tamlin has for her, like, I don't even think it's love anymore. It's just weird. It's just possessive. It's just like, I don't even know, but it's not love. I don't know. Maybe it is, but it's just gross. And yeah, I honestly, if I was Feyre and I had to pretend to actually like Tamlin and all these people again, I could not do it. So I think it's gonna be slightly painful reading her trying to pretend she loves Tamlin and all these things. It's just gonna be really cringy. But damn. Okay, so she's a spy now. Also, the big bomb has been dropped that oh my god, I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so Feyre and Rhys's bond has been broken supposedly by the King of Highburn, which is like shocking, traumatizing, right? But then we get revealed the big bombshell that they're actually still bonded because they secretly had this ceremony thing, and she's actually High Lord of the Night Court. So yeah, so things are not as bad as they seem, because I think she still has a contact point with Rhys because they didn't discover the other like tattoo and link with Reese, so we're good on that front. But yeah, overall, this is my first Sarah J Maas series ever. And I'm still a bit like confused with the mate thing. I'm just a bit confused. Like, so Lucian is Elaine's mate, but like, what does that mean? Like, does that mean they're fated to be together or that they have to be together? Because like, I feel like the way she writes it is like it's a binding, like, you know, contract. I'm a bit like, and like Lucian and Elaine. To be fair, I liked him in the first book. Like, I think he's really nice. Well, he was. He's a bit. Yeah. Well, second book, okay. But I do kind of like him. But him and Elaine, no. I just don't think they really match yet. I mean, I feel like he's got this banter and like more cheeky vibe, and she's very like, I don't know. She's just very different to him, and I just would not see that chemistry there. So once again, what is this mate business? I'm so confused. But we had the first chapter. The second last chapter was from Rizan's point of view. War is officially brewing. No one is surprised. So yeah, I am pretty excited for the next book because we're gonna see. I'm excited to see how Nesta and Elaine do in the Night Court, because like they're not fate, especially Elaine, because I feel like Nesta's like, you know, she can handle it, but Elaine, I don't know. Also, how is she gonna feel about the fact that Lucian is her mate? Maybe this is literally such an like kind of an irrelevant plot point, but for me, I'm just like really confused. And also, yeah, I definitely want to see how Feyre does again in the Spring Court, and also to see her interacting with Lucian again, because I don't know, it's just things are really weird, right? Things are really weird. Anyway, that's pretty much what I have to say. Sarah J Maas, yeah, she did the thing though with fantasy. The ending was just really exciting. There was lots of twists, traumatizing, shocking, screaming, everything. It was a lot. So yeah, don't know how I feel about being in the Spring Court again, but I'm hoping that we're gonna have like Reese's perspective or Nesta's perspective or Elaine's perspective to like balance the parts of Feyre being in the Spring Court, because like like I don't know, it's like been there, done that. First book wasn't my favorite. I didn't find it that exciting, so like that setting of the Spring Court, like it just doesn't, it's not that exciting to me, so hopefully they balance it out. But yeah, that is the end of my thoughts on this book. Wow. I think I'm gonna do another vlog for the last book in this trilogy. So yeah, I'm ready to be traumatized once again. And now I think I'm going to insert the clips of my bookcase reorganization. So yeah, enjoy that, and then that will be the end of this vlog. So I hope you liked it. This basically turned into a vlog where the main focus was on this book. So I hope that you guys liked it. If you've read this book and you either share the same opinions as me or just have like completely different opinions, please share them in the comments, because I'm really curious if people are as baffled as I am to some of the things that Sarah J Maas writes, as like the mating and all this weird stuff. So yeah, let me know. But anyway, now to my bookcase reorganization. Okay, so first I'm basically gonna give you a big overview of my bookshelves. I kind of have two main bookshelves. I have one that's just like to the left of my bed, and I have another one near the kind of end of my room. So I'll show you those now. So this is the main bookshelf that is to the side of my bed. As you can see here, these shelves are my kind of more decorative shelves, so I don't have a lot of knickknacks, to be honest. but I've kind of done my best to make it look aesthetic. I have some books facing out, but not as many as I would like. But I kind of just have classics, these 3 shelves, some fantasy series, and then lots of fantasy books all along the bottom, and some other fantasy books on my nightstand. And then towards the end of my bookshelf, it's a bit more random, but here I kind of have a fantasy adventure fiction kind of section with some French classics. Here I have some non-fiction books on miscellaneous topics. And then here I have just bookmarks, my jewelry box, kind of random stuff. But that is the main bookcase. Okay, so my second bookshelf is kind of just off this first one, but it's kind of under the roof. So the ceiling is quite low. But this one is a bit more random. As you can see, I've got a whole shelf that's empty here. And there's also a big mix of genres. Like there's some classics at the end here, but then there's a bunch of nonfiction, some middle grade, some more nonfiction. So this one is not very decorative. It's a bit random, so I think the most work to be done is definitely on this second bookcase. Okay, so I finished reorganizing my bookcase, well, yesterday or a day ago, so I thought I'd show you guys the overview of what's different. To be honest, like as I said, these 3 shelves of classics are the same because I just really like how they look, and I couldn't really find another way to display my classics in a way that I really loved. So this shelf over here, we have all my copies of Dracula, Gothic classics, and then all my editions of Alice in Wonderland. And then here we have miscellaneous classics, and then same with this next shelf over. It's mostly my Penguin English Library collection, and then just other classics. So those 3 shelves are the same, but what is different is this fantasy shelf right here. So I'm going to show you guys closer what those look like. So here is an overview of my newly organized shelves. So as I said, not much has changed. I mean, nothing has changed for my classic shelves. They've stayed completely the same actually, because I tried to reorganize my shelves drastically different. As you saw by the fact that I completely emptied my shelves, but in the end, I just couldn't get it to look better than this. So the classics are the same. But down here, I basically have miscellaneous fantasy novels by different authors, but I think it's nice. And I've also taken out some of my, I don't know, just fantasy that I don't like as much or just don't love, and I've put it somewhere else so that I can have my unread fantasy and my favorites over here. Then down here I have my Robin Hobb and Tolkien section, which is basically the same, except I've left more room because I haven't finished one of these trilogies, so I'm gonna have 2 books to add, and this is gonna be full eventually. And then basically the star of this new bookshelf, basically not even new, but it's this fantasy section. So I've just got a lot of my favorite fantasy books and series here. I've got a book facing out, which I really like, and I think the colors look super nice together, especially like all of these creams and whites and pinks I think look great. So that is basically it. Okay, so here is an overview of my newly organized shelf, which is just off my main shelf. So this one definitely has much more change than the first one. So although I've kept my children's classics exactly the same, in the bottom square, the rest is completely different. So in the other little cube at the end, I just have some of my favorite middle grade series. Then to the left of that, I've got non-fiction novels, mainly biology, natural sciences, and I've got one on display, and I've just kind of color coordinated them just to make it look more aesthetic. And then down here, similarly, I've just organized by collection with my Wordsworth classics, my Penguin modern classics, and then I just have a loose rainbow coordinated section of random classics that are just miscellaneous editions. Then next here I have some more middle grade series and middle grade books, as well as some random fiction. So these are fiction books that don't really belong with my other fiction books because they're kind of genres that I don't read very often. So we have like dystopian and historical fiction and translated fiction and contemporary romance. So these are kind of books that I don't reach for too often, but I still like them. And then down here, I've just kept all my big like encyclopedias, reference books about mostly just nature again. Most of these are from my childhood, so they're a bit sentimental, so I've just color coordinated them to make them look better. And then lastly, I just have some spillover of my fiction section of my kind of historical fantasy fiction. So when I get more, I'm gonna have plenty of space to add there. But yeah, that is the overview of my shelves. So yeah, I don't know. I think it looks better than before, but it's not super drastic. Anyway, I hope you guys really enjoyed this vlog, and I'm really excited to make the next vlog about A Court of Wings and Ruin, I think it's called. So stay tuned because I'm definitely going to make a designated vlog for that. Very ranty, very spoilery, but I think lots of people have read this series, so if you feel like getting back into this really weird and chaotic world, definitely look out for that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye!